Vladimir, stop. Everything's computer. I want to make that a song. If you don't know, some of the funniest things said lately have been serious, very serious things by the president. Did you know, I'm going to wait until we're a minute in. I'm Rob. This is my news commentary, newsmentary live stream that I do every weekday. We're going to talk about some news. You were saved from fentanyl. Deficit Donnie saved you from fentanyl. Hey, what's up, Curtis? Good to see you. If you're new, I go live every weekday, so hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. And we're going to talk about Pam Bondi at the Trump 100-day meeting, telling Donald, thank you, dear leader. Thank you, Supreme Leader. You saved all of America from fentanyl. Everyone. And we're going to go over the numbers, folks. Okay? We're going to figure out the numbers here. We're going to do numbers. I know feelings don't care about your facts. I know that. But did you know that saying countries kissed my ass, I think we're a minute in, so did you know saying countries kissed my ass, they're calling me kissing my ass? That's presidential talk now. So it's hard to get your kids in trouble when they tell you countries are kissing their ass. I mean, the kids go, well, that's how the president speaks. Curtis, all I've done is work for 14 plus days and I still have to sell my plasma to pay my rent full. Oof, that's what I'm talking about, man. This is not okay. Elon doesn't even have to work. Elon, Nepo baby, emerald, diamond, illegal immigrant, Jasmine Musk. I don't know what his middle name is. I just threw a bunch of stuff. Let's see if anything sticks. But Elondo, that dude don't work. He has a job at Tesla. I don't know what he's doing. And that dude ain't been at Tesla for however long. 5 months now? What are we, in May? My Jesus. So, Curtis, that is not, I don't know. That makes me really upset, Curtis, to see that people are working 14 plus days selling plasma. You shouldn't have to work more than 32 hours a week to be able to pay rent in America. That's what I'm for. If you are for that, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. That's what this channel's about. There was a time in America where you could work one job and buy a house. All right? There was a time in America where numbers meant something. I don't really like numbers, but numbers mean nothing. Hey, it's Toka Ava. What's up? Do you smoke weed or what, Sam W? Or what? Stephen Johnston, hello. Toka Ava, you're a supporter. You're going to like this channel if you believe people should work one job and be able to live, go on vacation, buy a home, go to school. If you are the grind set mindset, where you think you should work 100 hours a week, not know your family, and brag about it on TikTok, if you have made it to the TikTok cringe Reddit, then you're not going to like this channel. This channel isn't for you. If you think working people should have 2-3 jobs, not be able to afford to buy a house, have massive debt for school, should go into medical debt, this channel ain't for you. Go see Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, one of those buffoons. Go watch your other stuff, okay? I ain't here to pet you on the head. I ain't the one. I can already do that making $600K a year. Good for you, Sam W. Now, Sam W., let me ask you this, and then we'll get into the Pam Bondi said Donald Trump, deficit Donnie saved everyone in America from fentanyl. This is what they said. This is like buffoonery at this point. From UK, but I bet it's mostly now website monetized and some physical job. Sudden Booch, no. I can tell you, school, free healthcare, free. No, school, you go into debt. Healthcare, you go into debt. Everything, you go into debt. I read an article the other day that said people are doing purchase now, pay later for groceries. Groceries. That is gross, sirree. But Sam W., are you one of them people, and I hope not, that lives comfortably and turns around and spits on anybody who isn't? One of those people that says, Well, I'm doing just fine, so go ahead and F yourself. I hope not. They stated they saved 258 million American lives. Timothy, you're jumping the gun. I'm trying to catch up with some people in the chat, but Timothy's going to push me there. CJ, welcome. Much love to you. And before we get into the news, let me just remind everybody, listen to Kneecap, the Irish rappers. Watch their movie on Netflix. Support them any way you can. Kneecap. Listen to their song, Fine Art. Sudden Booch. Why did they charge the public sector for it instead of the government as a service? That's a good question, because CEOs can make millions of dollars off of it. They capitalize on it. That's okay, Timothy. I was just giving you a hard time. I love you too. Chicken jockey. So Sudden Booch, they charge us for school, for health, for grocery. They charge us for everything, and they want us to all get credit cards to take it out on rent, on loan, because they can exploit it, you know? Why do our taxes pay for healthcare of other countries, for weapons to go to other countries, when it won't even help support the citizens here? Like, I can't figure that out. Well, no, I figured it out. It's because there's a CEO who just got murked, Brian Johnson of United Health, and he was using AI to deny people their medical claims, and he was making millions of dollars. And he slept fine at night. Well, he don't sleep no more. He's sleeping with the... Well, he's down in hell, so I don't know if he's sleep in hell, but that guy's in hell. But yeah, they do it because they can make a ton of money on it, and they got all the politicians in their pocket. But now I clean up this mess. Chicken jockey. So CJ, we're going to talk about Pam Bondi, the Trump 100-day meeting, the cabinet meeting, where everybody, if you watch that, it's online. Go find it. I didn't link it down below, but I did link the article from Rolling Stone, which you should read. But it's so funny, because if you ever wondered how North Korea operated and couldn't get video of how they operate around the supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, you didn't have a translator, it didn't speak Korean, you can find out. You just watch the Trump cabinet meetings, because everyone that speaks has to start, or maybe they don't have to, but they ain't going to be at the cabinet meeting for long. But everybody at that Trump cabinet meeting starts out by going, "Thank you, sir. Supreme Leader, it has been the most gracious 100 days of my life. I was born for this moment. I am so grateful. There is never in the history, never ever in the history of our country, in the world, in the universe, in the galaxy, in the Star Wars universe, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, never has there ever been such a grand leader as you, Donnie Deficit." And that's how they all start. Palantir CEO. Oh, you know about the Palantir CEO, Timothy Travis? I like you. Well, you've been here before. That dude reminds me of an HBO show I used to watch, Silicon Valley. The CEOs in that. You know that dude. We'll talk. Timothy, let's put a toothpick in that, and let's just don't tell him South Korea is free. South Korea is free. North Korea is not. Timothy, we got to have a live stream where we talk about the Palantir CEO. That dude is human rubbish, and he lives up in New Hampshire somewhere. But we got to have a whole thing on that, because our representatives think we're dumb. That is right, CJ. But they also know that a lot of us are dumb. And I'm not claiming to be smart by any means, but I am saying that, my God, when we get to this news story, these numbers, like Timothy had said, you have to be a moron. This is literally 1 + 1 = 4. This is what it is. And this is happening in, oh, it's Timothy Mnemonic. All right. What did Palantir own before AI? Well, I don't know. What did they? Do you know? I was just reading this whole thing about the Palantir CEO. I forget his name. Bootlickers, all of them. Yeah, the Photoshopped. The president's duped by the Photoshop. The president has everybody. I mean, would you want to be, I know some people would, but would you want to be surrounded by a bunch of brown nosers? Everything you do, everyone's like, "Wow, that was the greatest dropping of an ice cube I've ever seen, sir. Would you like me to pick it up with my mouth for you?" It's like everything Donald does, and you saw this on display, that he gets very upset if you question him or don't go, "Yes, sir. Yes, Supreme Leader, the best ever." He's a lunatic. I would never want to be surrounded with people that just said everything I did was great. It would be like, I would feel like people were effing with me all the time. Plus, I've been on YouTube too long. The trolls here, they let you know how awful they think you are. Most nations' reactions to Trump trade was exceptions on his cost by percentage. Each one had a counter. Oh, okay. I'm not going to get into that, Sunbroach. But here, Pam Bondi said that Donald Deficit Donnie, the president, supreme leader of the United States, where no one can say anything bad about. Shut your free speech up. You can't talk bad about Deficit Donnie. Okay? The Amazon surcharge that you were going to see doesn't exist. You didn't see it. You saw nothing. But Pam Bondi said that they seized in the first 100 days. Nobody's ever been a better president ever in the history of presidents. Deficit Donnie. She said, we seized 3,400 kilos of fentanyl. And then she said, are you ready for this, media? Like some kind of stupid brag. There's a humble brag. What's the other? Dummy brag? Because if you got a humble brag, there's got to be another kind of brag. It's got to be like a dummy brag where you're bragging about something that's not real. But Pam Bondi said, are you ready for this, media? And then she said, Donnie, Deficit Donnie, the old Trumpy tariff. Donald saved 258 million lives. So we're going to do some math, and I never thought my stupid middle school teachers were correct. I am going to need math in life. Ugh, they were right. I got to write them all apology letters. But if you do the math, the U.S. population, the amount of people in America, is 340 million. 340 million, okay? And if Pamela Bondi, was brown-nosing Deficit Donald saying that he saved 258 million people, that is just about 3/4 of the U.S. population, meaning 75%, meaning 3 out of 4 people. So if there are 4 people in your house, 3 of them would have died from fentanyl, according to Pam Bondi. This is coming out of the White House, folks. This is, I don't know if it's obscene, if it's a kick to the dick. It's hard to put into words of how stupid Pam Bondi thinks you are. How dumb Donald Trump is. How dumb. I watched this video and laughed my ass off. If you haven't seen the video of Pam Bondi where she's like, ready for this, media? Donald Trump saved I wish she just said the U.S. population after. If she said Donald Trump saved 258 million lives from fentanyl overdoses out of the 350 million people that live here. Because that makes you think, if you have 4 people in your house, 3 of them were going to die from fentanyl. And you may say, well, I have 3 kids. Kiss them goodbye. If it wasn't for Deficit Donnie, they'd all be gone from fentanyl in these 100 days. She's dumber than Harrison. They're all dumb, Logan. Oh, Logan, listen to the words. You'll understand, little one. Logan, do you know anything about math? If you saved 250 million people from a fentanyl, but there was only 350 million people in the country, what percentage of people did you save? What percentage, Logan? 75%. So, Logan, if you have 4 people in your house, 3 people were going to die over the past 100 days from fentanyl, according to the president and Pam Bondi. 3 people were going to die in your house if there's 4 people there. And you may say, well, I've never even seen fentanyl. You may say, my parents are elderly and they just sit and watch Fox News. Or you may say, I live with cats. It doesn't matter. The president said so. Pam Bondi said so. So F your facts. Those are their feelings. The numbers don't matter anymore. Laws are made up. Nothing matters. Due process is gone. I don't like math because it's confusing. Well, I could tell you're a Trump fan. So you go, I just trust the numbers they say. I can tell you don't like math. You're like, 250 million. That sounds like a big number. I can't count to that. I'm just going to trust Pam Bondi when she says 3 out of 4 people were going to die over the last 100 days. Could you imagine that? I think that's even worse. Like, Thanos didn't even kill 3 out of 4 people in the Marvel movies. Thanos, that's his name, right? I keep thinking Theranos. Not that lady who went to prison for the stuff Elon Musk is doing now. Thanos, the guy who snapped and made half the universe disappear, he only wanted half the universe to be gone. Pam Bondi said she saved 3/4 of the, or 1/4 of the universe. No, 3/4. That's crazy. And if you believe that, my God, you deserve to buy more Trump meme coins. I'll tell you that much. I don't hate Trump, not like either. Well, Logan Creed, when you sit on a fence, you know what happens? It proves to everybody you got nothing in your nethers. Because if you're sitting on the fence on this one, you have to. When somebody lies blatantly, you're young, so let me explain it to you. When somebody lies to your face, if I said, Logan, I saved 3 people out of your family. There's 4 people in your house. I saved all 3 of them. You were the only one that was safe. You would go, I don't know if I trust this guy. And hopefully you would be brave enough to call it out and say, I don't think that's the truth. And if you don't, what you're doing is you're letting your silence allow these bullies and these liars to keep running game on folks. RJ, hello. Steven Davidson, dang. Bro, don't lie. You look like if fentanyl had a human face. That's not a bad joke. You should not be talking about other people's math skills. Uh-oh. Steve Davidson's upset. Daddy Donald, old deficit Donald, who's emptying out the shelves at your Target and your Walmart. He's a staunch defender. He says, I don't care if they're lying to me. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Guess who I'm against? Some Canadians. Solidarity with you, RJ. Canadians, solidarity with you, my friend. I apologize for the buffoonery and the liars that are in the White House right now. So ages ago, we solved this painkillers problem here in the UK using Solpadeine. Interesting. Sudden broach. I'll tell you what, RFK right now, if they care about fentanyl overdoses and stuff like that, RFK, who's heading the Health and Human Resources Department or whatever the fuck it's called, RFK, who wants to do a national eugenics registry, RFK, who was a former heroin addict, he's eradicating a Narcan program that saves people's lives. Narcan saves people's lives. It doesn't matter what your opinion is on addicts, which is weird saying that because RFK was an addict. But for him to kick the ladder out from under him, for RFK to get rid of something that could have potentially saved his life at one point, is just, it's the chef's kiss of scumbaggery. He's an absolute D-wad. Jewish butt. Jim, why do all these Trump people are like, what do you want, Biden? It's like, Jim, shut up. We're not talking about Biden. We're talking about 100 days and 3 out of 4 people being saved. Pam Bondi said Deficit Donald saved 3 out of 4 Americans. 75% of America these past 100 days were going to die from fentanyl. Did you not know that? How could you not know? That's a pandemic, an epidemic of massive consequences. That would have been worse than the Thanos snap. Thanos only wanted to eradicate half the universe. Fentanyl, in this first 100 days, was going to kill 3/4 of us. Jim, what I'm against is lying. Scumbag politicians lying to brown-nose their boss. If you want to talk about the past, we could do that. I broach that topic all the time. But I'm tired when you're confronted, when these Trumpers are, these maggots are confronted with what is happening yesterday. They go, well, what about Biden? It's exhausting. Shut the fuck up. Address what's going on. Jim, I'm talking to you. Address what's going on. Pam Bondi just said 3 out of 4 Americans were saved by Deficit Donnie. Just go. This is the simple shit, folks. I don't like Biden. He broke up the rail workers' strike. I can say that. I'm not in a cult. I'm not going to be excommunicated from the cloth of Donnie. You people, and I do mean you maggots, you people refuse to hold the most powerful accountable. Bootlicking. It's like you went to a 5-star Michelin restaurant, one that God bless, God rest, Tony Bourdain wrote a whole review on. It said it's the best restaurant. And you went there and you said, could you serve me the boot? I'd love to lick that soup. It's so simple, folks. Not emotional as you. Steve, shut up. Stop. This is not about emotions. And I do get emotional when people are dying. Did you hear what I said about the Narcan? When the most powerful man is lying, and we have Americans as yourself who are going, I'm anti-American. I want a king. I want a cult. I want due process gone. I don't want people to have to face evidence, justice, or anything that's American, who stomp on what Thomas Jefferson said. You say, Thomas Jefferson said, rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. Well, he's un-American. One of the founding fathers you think is un-American. It is so dumb. And the thing is I'm just talking about the facts of stuff. You guys get emotional. Thank you. Oh, I can't say your name, Bob Emanuel. Oh my God. Thank you for coming back. And I'm not going to butcher your name. My apologies. But you're right. MAGA gets so emotional. You want to talk about emotional, Steve Davis? Did you see Trump's interview on NBC or ABC or BBC or FBC or LMNOP? Or I don't know what these channels are. I don't watch them. I watch the clips on YouTube. Did you see Trump get upset when Tanner Mortuary or Tandem Jump or whatever that reporter's name, they all have the weirdest names. They're all like, hi, I'm Brisk Weather. And you're like, is that a real name? What the fuck is going on? But did you see Donald Trump, the president, right? The guy who called people snowflakes, called people woke. You see when the journalist Tanner Mortuary or whatever his name is, my apologies to Tanner because he did a good job. But he just said, sorry, that was a photoshopped photo. Like, you're wrong. We're going to agree to disagree. And Donald Trump had a man tantrum. He could not let it go. And the reporter's like, let's move on to Ukraine. And the president, the most powerful person in the world, had a tantrum. Is that emotional enough for you? But here I am talking about like he's lying to people and he's insulting you, Steve, in a way that he's saying, I'm going to tell you I saved 3 out of 4 Americans from fentanyl, from only 3,000 kilos of fentanyl. He's going to tell you that he saved that many people, and this is what you do. You ignore it. You ignore it. So either you're stupid like he thinks, and you allow him to do this, and I'm not saying you're stupid. Steve, you could be a smart person. But Steve Davidson, I'm telling you right now, Trump and Pam Bondi think you're dumb. That's why they say this stuff. Why do liars lie? Because they go, oh, someone might believe it. So as long as you keep ignoring it and pretending it doesn't exist because you can't critique your king, your man king, then guess what? They're going to keep calling you dumb. When the Target and Walmart shelves are empty in your town, you're going to turn around and go, man, Biden sucks. Like, it's so stupid. I want to hug you and tell you, you know, there's hope for you, but there might not be. What next username? Okay, I don't know. I believe most Americans are smarter than Trump. Sudden broach, you're giving Americans too much credit. Too much credit. The office of the president just yesterday claimed 3 out of 4 Americans were saved by Deficit Donnie for the seizures of fentanyl at the border over 100 days. That means almost all of our country would have been wiped out. Would there just be like some kids and old folks here? Like that's like Thanos again. In a Marvel movie, Thanos was like, I'm just going to wipe out half the universe. And he did. And you saw the repercussions. Even Thanos was like 3 out of 4, 75%. Come on, guys. That's not even realistic. I'm not even that dumb. Cuddly Cuddles. I like that name. Orpheus. There you are. Orpheus. Oh, you guys are jumping in late. But it's okay. I forgive ya. Chicken jockey. So Trump is Thanos because him and Pam Bondi yesterday in their presidential meeting. Well, again, this is why they're eradicating the Department of Education, because they're like, Americans don't need to know numbers. They need to think that's fancy people talk. But Pam Bondi said Donald Trump saved 250 million lives, even though there's 300 50 million people in America from fentanyl seizures. And then she went and tweeted, this is the other thing, then Pam Bondi tweeted, they seized 22 million pills and saved 119 million lives. So in total, 258 plus 119 would be 377. They saved 377 million lives total from fentanyl in America, even though there's 350 million people in America. So they saved extra people that have not been born yet in America in the past 100 days. And if you believe that, you're fucking dumb. Sorry, YouTube, don't ban me. But it's insulting to the American people, and I'd like to think my fellow Americans can see a lie and go, that's a lie. We don't stand for that. You know, the office of the president shouldn't be doing that. You got to hold yourself to a higher standard. Emotional. Did you see T-Bag flip out on Terry Morgan? Terry Moran! That's his name. I keep calling him Tanner Mortuary. I am so sorry, Terry Moran. You did a good job pushing back on him. I try to keep an open mind. An open mind to what? People lying to you? And I'm genuinely asking this because Pam Bondi just said Deficit Donald saved 377 million or 367 million people, and there's only 350 million in America. Now, maybe those numbers are too big for a lot of people, but I at least graduated high. Well, I graduated college, but my point is like, you don't have to, we have Google, folks. Just Google how many people in America. Can you save more people than exist in America from fentanyl? And Google and AI will probably be like, how are you working a computer right now? How are you smart enough to be? I gotta go run and do some stuff, but thank you. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Much love. Peace.